In 2022, on the 15th of January, a volcano erupted in the Kingdom of Tonga. So powerful, it echoed across the globe. It triggered tsunami waves impacting countries like Tonga, Fiji, New Zealand, Australia, Japan, and the United States of America. The most profound waves were not in the ocean, they were in the hearts of the people. I was part of a mental health team that traveled to Tonga. What we encountered was not just physical devastation, but emotional trauma. Children ran and hid, terrified that the eruption was happening all over again. Parents feared that the world is coming to an end. The air was thick with despair, grief, and anxiety. When we spoke about psychological distress, people were saying, that's what we felt, that's what we needed help with. There was a turning point recognizing mental health matters even in places that is so rarely spoke about. My name is Sione Vaka. I'm a mental health practitioner and researcher. I was born in Tonga, now living here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. I spent years working with our Pacific communities, different communities in churches, hospitals, clinics, Kava circles, and all Pacific gatherings. I have listened, learned, and contribute to healing. Today, I'm going to talk about the rising tide of mental distress amongst Indigenous population, with a focus on Pacific people. Climate change is making it worse. But I'm going to talk about something more powerful, our Pacific cultural wisdoms. Does not only soothe the soul, but it transforms how we understand mental health. There will be three concepts that I'll be talking about today. Concept one is Kava. Concept two is Talanoa. Concept number three is Uloa. Before I will unpack these three cultural concepts, I'll provide a little bit of a background from mental health and some context from the Pacific. Globally, about 1 in 7 people experience mental distress. For Pacific people, it's about 1 in 4, and the numbers are rising. Climate change is not a scientific issue anymore. It's a mental health crisis. Our islands faces earthquakes, hurricanes, tsunamis with increasing frequency and intensity. Each disaster leaves behind invisible wounds, deep psychological distress related to fear, grief, and anxiety. But the deeper issue is this. Our mental health system do not often work for our people. They are too clinical, individualistic, and they don't engage our Pacific cultural ways of healing. The tools are foreign, the spaces are unfamiliar, and the language just does not speak to our soul. Let me clarify something from the Pacific. There is no island that we call the Pacific Island. We are people of the Pacific Ocean, the largest ocean on Earth. We come from different islands, different cultures, different languages. We may have similar values and philosophies, but we practice and express them quite differently. Take concept one, for example, Kava, a sacred plant that symbolizes land, identity, and connection. We use it for a drink. In Tonga, we clap our hands before we drink the Kava. In Fiji, we drink our Kava, then we clap our hands. In Samoa, we spill a bit to the ground then we drink the kava. Kava is not just a drink. Kava symbolizes our land. Kava provides a space. It is a space where we accept our roles, responsibilities, and our duties to our society. Kava is a space where we reconnect with those who have gone before us and our ancestors, and we can connect to our spirit as well. Kava is a space that symbolizes land. Kava is a cultural anchor in turbulent times. In Kava, we Talanoa. That's the concept number 2. Talanoa comes from 2 words. Tala means to tell or told. Noa means sense of harmony or balance. In Talanoa, we do not talk about what do you do, what's your professional background. In Talanoa, we share stories. It's about shared experience. We ask, where are your parents from? What villages? What mountains? What rivers? We want to connect before we speak. An example of Talanoa, if the topic is coconut, from a non-Pacific and much more scientific way of talking, we want to talk about the measurement of the coconut, the weight, the sizes, the height of the tree. In Talanoa, we share stories like who planted the coconut, the location of the coconut in the village, what's the purpose of the coconut, how can the coconut contribute to the society, the tree, the leaves, and the juice. Talanoa is soothing. It provides comfort in times of stress, anxiety, and depression. That's how we heal, not alone, but together. In Tonga, we have a communal fishing practice we call Uloa, concept number 3. Uloa, everybody in the village participate. We go to the ocean with our coconut leaves, we hold hands together, then we move together, ensuring that we fish together, we share the catch together, and no one is being left behind. Mental health should be like Uloa. It is a collective effort where everybody join in, then we care for each other, and no one is left behind. Let me put these cultural concepts together. Kava provides a space, symbolizes land and our identity. Talanoa explores. It tries to find how we connect, then engaged. Uloa makes sure that we move together and no one is left behind. When I walk through different mental health settings here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, where many Pacific people are struggling, I see little space for Kava, Talanoa, and Uloa. One man told me, Sione, I have tried to adapt to this society so much that I'm starting to feel I'm not a Tongan anymore. This is not a personal loss, it's a systemic failure. We need to bring these cultural concepts together. They may not be cultural concepts alone, but they are mental health interventions. I have seen it work. I have seen it work in the Cook Islands while working with first responders and people at non-government organizations as well. I have seen it work in Fiji. I have seen it work in the outer villages in Vanuatu. I have seen it work with our Fijian military officers who are working in the United Kingdom experiencing distress. I have seen it work with our Tongan rugby players who left home, go overseas, seeking for a better professional career there. I have seen it work with our students here in Waikato University, where they find comfort, connections, and healing in Kava, in Talanoa, and in the spirit of Uloa. In Cook Island, many people come together across the sea to share experience and talk to each other. How can they support each other in terms of caring for one another, in terms of mental health? They share experiences, they sit in circle, and then keep on sharing all these ways how they can support each other there. This was more than just training. It was healing. It was Talanoa in action. In Vanuatu, a chief stood before his people and said, "We should not use words of shame. We should speak with love and dignity." He did not just speak, he led. He showed that leadership is not just about power, but about compassion. Moments like this reminds me the importance of the work that I do. Healing does not come from the system alone. Healing comes from people. Healing comes from culture. Healing comes from courage. Mental health is not just the absence of illness. It's about connection. It's about connections to the people, to the land, and to the spirit as well. We need to create systems that reflect our value. We need to build systems that reflect who we are. We need to make space for Kava, Talanoa, and Uloa. We need to listen to Indigenous voices, not just as stories, but as solutions. Because when we heal together, we rise together.